What's up, gamers? It's your boy, GoldDemon 12, back with Genshin Podcast episode 13. I'm pretty sure it's 13. I'm here with our special guest, StatJunkie. XGino decided not to show up because he is lazy. And, yeah, let's get started with it. So I need to move chat to above me so it's not covering you. And I believe you prepared some questions for me, Stat. Would you want to start with those?
I did. Sure. Well, okay. I guess it'd be better to start with questions that are like sort of contextual. So, why did you start playing Genshin?
Why I start playing Genshin? It's simple. I saw an anime game and I was bored out of my mind. I'm like, I want to play that. I forgot about it like for the first day, and I'm like, oh wait, that game's out, and I just started playing it.
Oh, Frankie says it's episode 14.
He's lying. It's 13. I checked.
Oh, okay.
I swear it's episode 13. He's gonna drive me insane. But yeah, it looked appealing to me, you know, it was open world. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. And that's it.
Kang says that my mic is louder than yours.
Look, I know the gain is a little low, but would you rather have it like this? I just naturally talk low, alright? So I can inflate it a little bit, but, like, I don't know. The 13th is with Sheb? Wait, are you serious? No, hold on. Frankie, I swear.
Quickly goes to check YouTube.
No, I am checking right now.
Oh, okay. It's just a really long 13th
Oh my
episode,
god, he's right.
It's a double feature.
Okay, it's the 14th episode. Okay, it's the 14th episode, okay? I never said it was the 13th. I don't know what you're talking about. Next question.
Oh. Well, I guess so the islands are up right now, the Golden Apple Archipelago. And did you do both of them? Did you do the 1.6 islands as well?
Yes, I have.
I was gonna ask, which do you prefer? Because this one has like the character domains, and the first one was a little more like it's just about the exploration and it's kind of chill. So, what's like more up your alley between the two of them?
I hate Fischl's domain and like pretty much everything about like Fischl's area of the map. Apart from the funny bird with Mona, that's the best part about that one. But in terms of like overall stuff, I'd say probably this Golden Archipelago, because last one it was just like the mini games of Klee, and I wasn't a big fan of most of them. Right, there wasn't much there, and this one we got a lot of content, you know, in terms of events and the mains and everything.
Yeah, and it's like it was easy starting out when you see the islands to be like, there's nothing here, there's like nothing to explore, because they didn't add the chests until after the islands transformed into like the character one. So when you first get there, it's like, why did they just give us the land and it's just empty? But I think I agree. I think this one feels like it has a lot more work put into it, which is good. I don't think they would want the second one to underperform the first one. I don't know. Do you have any questions? Oh yeah, do you have questions for me? I only have a few.
Well, I mean, I don't have any exact questions for you, but typically whenever I do this, and it was different with Shed because it was like, hey chat, you guys want to come up with questions, make this funny? But typically we do a list of things like what we thought of like current events, what we've done this week on the accounts, stuff like that. And I mean, you can answer some of your own questions, like, hey, maybe these people don't know what got you into Genshin or anything like that.
That's fair. Well, for me, I had never really played an anime-style game before. I had not played a JRPG or any similar genre. I have always been big on open-world RPGs, so I sunk definitely at least 2,000 hours into Skyrim, that kind of thing.
I love Skyrim.
And MMOs. And so I think I was just bored. I didn't have a lot to do. Well, I guess it was November when I started playing Genshin, and so I was just looking for another game to play. And and so I just checked it out, and then I got in there, and it actually weirded me out to see an anime style in an RPG. It took me several days to adjust to that. I was like,
Really?
what in the Sword Art Online is going on here? Um, but yeah, it's just very visually appealing. So what definitely grabbed me on day one is just how beautiful the the atmosphere of the game is, and the little bloop
Mhm.
bloop sounds when you pick things up. It was just sensory, very good. And then I stayed for the theory crafting, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I love how the game looks visually. It's definitely up there in terms of anime games, and I play a pretty good amount of anime games. And I'd put this one high up on the list. Granted, it has problems, nothing's perfect, but in terms of overall for anime style games, this is definitely up there. And if you are looking to play more, uh, there's a whole list of like Dragon Ball anime games that are actually really good for what they are. Um, and that's pretty much where I stick mostly. Like I
Hmm.
like Kakarot because it basically retells the story of Z, and it's got its own unique style that just looks really good. I mean, that's the first one that comes off the top of my head, but point is, a bunch of good anime games. Them being anime is just a style thing.
I believe you. I don't know about. I've never even ventured at all into the drag. Well, okay, no, that's not true. I did watch the first maybe 25 or 30 episodes of the original Dragon Ball, like the
Hmm.
old first Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
where he's like 3 feet tall.
Hmm.
Um, but aside from that, I'm not very invested in the Dragon Ball universe. So I would like at least watch a trailer of them on your recommendation, but I can't promise I would commit to those. I did try Honkai. I downloaded Honkai and I played it for probably a couple of weeks, I think, but it was missing the true open world that I usually like. I think that's like really important to me. And I know they've got like a little sort of open world test area where you like run around
Hmm.
and do objectives, but I don't know. And it's hard for me to leave behind like the elemental system that Genshin has too, because that's a huge part of what grabs me. Oh, yeah, my
Yeah.
coffee.
The I guess more mechanic based combat, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Honkai doesn't really have that. It's stage based. Maybe like, and so that's actually interesting because maybe you wouldn't like Zenless Zone Zero. I've been outspoken how much I'm hyped about that game, and just really want to play it. But
Hmm.
that isn't open world, and so.
It's like instance based. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm nervous about that. I will at least download it and try it,
Hmm.
but I don't I could be surprised though. And I've seen like you where like when you're not in instances, you're like on a sort of city street and you like go into a bar and that's like your headquarters
Yep.
and that whole kind of thing. It's visually very appealing.
Hmm.
Um and the combat animations look really smooth, but I want to explore something big, and I like when it's too focused on combat, it takes like the role playing aspect out of the role playing game for me,
Hmm.
which I enjoy. Yeah, I'm
Well,
very excited about Tower of Fantasy though because that's got a big old map.
mhm. Well, if it's specifically big open world, Elden Ring's pretty good. Mm.
I swore an oath that I wouldn't play Elden Ring until I finished um, Dark
Dark
Souls
Souls
3,
3? Yeah.
which is my first Dark Souls game. And then I told myself I shouldn't progress in Dark Souls 3 unless it's on stream. This is okay, also is kind of a separate question. Um, or leading into one. But anyway, I told myself that I would finish Dark Souls 3 first. And but I also told myself that I shouldn't play Dark Souls 3 off stream. But I also always play Genshin, so then I never play Dark Souls 3, so now I can't get Elden Ring. I
Hmm.
like blocked myself logically into those steps. And so my question is like, how do you manage like streaming is playing games that you enjoy,
Hmm.
and but also you want it to be successful. So you're like, for me at least, I constantly think about what is enjoyable for people to watch me play, and not just what's enjoyable for me to play, which is partly why I stopped doing story quests as much on Genshin on stream, because I know that if I am reading paragraphs, I'll be too into them and I'll stop interacting with chat. And so like that kind of thing. How do you balance what's fun for you and what is good content for stream because I have to be conscious sometimes that I don't think too much about stream and stop having fun.
Mhm.
Because if I'm trying that hard and people watch me and I think people can pick up on whether you're having fun or not. So, and then that drives them away too. Or not drives away is a very aggressive way to put it, but it can.
I
Sorry, that was
mean,
a yeah.
no, I get what you're saying. So normally, and I've seen this said by like other top streamers, you normally set up your streams to have a goal for that stream. But what I do to
Mhm.
have enjoyment is, uh, I'm like, hey, I want to play this game right now. I'm going to stream it. Do I have stuff to do in that game? And is that game a good stream game? Because this doesn't apply. Well, I guess this does apply to many people, but I don't think all games are good games to stream. Right? There are some that aren't really. Uh, I guess what a good example of this would be. Um, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Maybe I don't know, let's say Minecraft, right? If you were just doing a generic Minecraft stream, like that's been done and seen before, right? It's not something that someone's going to want to watch, right? Unless it's for like the person's personality. But let's say it's like Genshin, and you're going around and messing around using a unique team comp or trying something out, or hey, you want to get all these story quests done now and say your thoughts about it, right? Genshin, it's got a lot for it. Like there's a lot of interactability, and it has more expansion in terms of actual people like enjoying the game. That I would consider this a good stream game, right? It's there's a lot going on, unlike I don't know. Um, I guess let's use Destiny for example, right? Not all Destiny content I'd say is like good to stream. Like I'm not gonna sit there and play Gambit for 24 hours, right? No one's gonna watch that. If I sat there and played all the modes and then went in with a group of people into like a raid, you know, uh, that's gonna be more enjoyable. Or like PvP, for example, right? That's gonna be more enjoyable. And so maybe that would help you find it. It's like do what you like doing, and if it's has like a goal in mind, right, and you get it done within that stream, and people are gonna enjoy watching you do it and talk about it, then good to go, really.
Yeah.
I've had no
And
problem like
Abyss.
a bit, yeah, Abyss is good for that, but
Mhm.
I personally have had zero problem with that because I'll hop on here. I'll normally play Genshin, and if I finish whatever I do with Genshin, right, and like do my day's boss, I'm like, well, I don't really have anything I want to do anymore. I'm gonna go and play another game like Honkai or something, right? Do my stuff in there. You know, I've done a little bit of Resident Evil. I did a bit of Elden Ring because I was just like, I want to play these games today, right? Just
Mhm.
like that. So,
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Well, speaking of having goals,
mm,
one of the other questions that I had was with Genshin having been out for 2 years now. I know that in particular, content creators, a lot of them are feeling burned out sometimes by like focusing heavily on the game for that period of time. I think people who play it casually don't really care because they're just playing for an hour a day and getting off. But when you're a content creator and you try to play for several hours a day on the game, it's it is easy to get burned out. And so my question is, what keeps you from getting burned out? What kind of goals do you have that are like motivating you to play the game, or if you have
so
them?
for me, it's a bit different because I'm free to play, and it's free to play with quotation marks because again, I've won giveaways and I have had a generous donation from a certain somebody for to acquire things, but it hasn't been like to the extent where I'm like, oh hey, I have every single character. Literally all it was enough to get me C2 rated, and that was about it. Um, but for me, like typically in this game, like I want to collect all the characters I like, and I want to have builds for all the characters I want to use. And so, as I'm doing right now, I'm going over my like artifact sets for all these characters, and almost every character has a build. It's not perfect, but almost every character has a build. You know, and I've said many times like, hey, I need this one really good emblem artifact. It finishes everything for my account, right? But also, I still have to upgrade these characters, right? I always have found something for me to continue progressing on. And maybe if you're a whale, right, spending like infinite amounts of resin, right, you probably have a bunch of this stuff done already. And so maybe
Mhm.
you're like actually to the point, like, hey, I don't have anything. But I find unless you're spending, $50,000+, you're not gonna be at that point, right? At least for these kind of games, the ones where you grind, there's usually always something to do, like continue going on.
Yeah.
And so I have no problem finding like motivation to play. But like if I don't want to play that day, I'll do my 15 minutes worth of resin, hop off, right? And there is sort of an issue for content creators because you can only ever do so much content for a certain update before you have to go back to your builds, guides, tier list things. And so it may be an issue trying to find content, but I feel like I guess Tecton, a bigger Genshin YouTuber, has found a like happy medium, right? He'll do some like story content, and he'll do some like Genshin related content for like everything else, right? And so there is a way to do it, but I do understand like there's an extent to how much content you can create with Genshin specifically. And also,
Fair.
I had a few comments in chat that I'm gonna catch up on. And Uray says, "How's it going?" It's good, Uray. I want to say something about this question, but just whatever you have fun with. Chances are viewers stay for the stream rather than the game. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It's like personality does normally have the impact on that. So playing what you want is fine. Exactly. So that was the last question. And then Perky says, "I feel bad for content creators because they have nothing to do when everything is complicated or completed. Most content relies on new stuff releasing." And yeah, that's what I was saying about the story quest and everything. Nothing to make a new video about. Yeah, there is kind of a limit on that, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I actually have two questions, but one is about Bright said you spent $10. Are you a Welkin Battle Pass player, or are you just fully
No,
free to play except for the?
I spent the $10 once to get Eula, but here's the thing. I was two like singles away from it. I didn't even realize, so I could have not spent that $10, but that's it. I don't like buy any of this
That's
stuff.
all you've ever spent on the game?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah, I won
I only
like 3 giveaways. I think 2 of them were double Welkin. And then it was my generous benefactor who did the rest.
was that. I know that you've won marbles on Dom's stream,
Yes,
and
multiple times.
that was a Welkin thing
Mm-hmm.
where he. Yeah, okay.
He got me a few Welkins, yeah. I think he got me
I
3, maybe? I don't know, but yeah.
I am a Welkin Battle Pass, and every once in a while, when I really want something and I don't quite make it across the line, I'll just stack up on Welkins,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to maintain my reputation as a Welkin Battle Pass purist, and I have never spent anything else. So right now, I do have 190 days of Welkin sitting, because I really wanted to get the Diluc skin.
Yeah, I mean,
and I needed the Genesis crystals.
it's like the most cost-effective way to play this game. If you enjoy the game and like, yeah, I want to spend some money, then just like max out on Welkin, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's simple.
And then I wanted to respond to what Frankie said about builds, tier list guides, showcases, or everyone on YouTube. So that topic usually dies out. I personally will watch every tier list video. I will watch all of them, just because. And I probably have watched, I don't know, 50, anywhere between 50 and maybe 80 Genshin tier lists, because sometimes I enjoy feeling angry.
I mean, I agree to you to that extent. I'll watch the videos just to be like, do I agree with this or not, or criticize something about it. Like, I basically religiously watch every single I Win to Lose video about Genshin, because I just feel like, at least in my opinion, he's like probably my favorite or like the best Genshin content creator. And that's also what I find lacking about so many of them, is that I just don't agree with them. I'm not gonna insert this one guy's name, but let's just say it's on the side of where it's basically misinformation that I think he's just giving out. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not watching this garbage. I'm gonna like let it be alone, right? I'm not gonna do anything about it, because like there's nothing wrong with the videos, but when you title something the best guide or
This changes everything.
the best build sort of thing, not this changes everything, but
Oh yeah.
like this is like the best version, like it's like, is that necessarily true what you're giving out the information? Like, this chart to an educated player doesn't make much sense. Are you sure? But I don't know. That's
Yep.
But yeah, I do enjoy my fair share of builds. And also, the thing is, the builds and setups are more limited to what artifacts and characters are coming out. So that will change basically every update, right? And some characters like Zhao, for example, won't have a change in the meta state for a very long time. But in terms of speculation, there has been hints at a character that could possibly help Zhao out. So, maybe there'd be a new best Zhao setup soon. Who knows?
That would.
Those
I mean,
can
they've
always
done it
be
with
returned.
Sarah, Shenhe, and Goro have hit those three. And I mean, Bennett already exists for Pyro. And what else does that leave? A Hydro. Do we have anything like that for Hydro?
What do you mean?
Oh, like someone who's a clear buffer for that element type. And I mean, Bennett's a universal one.
Yeah,
so like the Zhao, the Enemo for Zhao,
Hydro.
yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. But Hydra's fine. They've got Xingqiu. They don't need anything else. They're good.
They have 2 top tier characters. They're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of slots to be filled in terms of like characters, like archetypes that I would consider.
Yeah. We're still missing some weapon type and element combos. We haven't gotten our Hydro Polearm yet. Or
Hydro Polearm when? Come on.
Or I would love to see like a child-sized polearm user. That'd be kind of funny. We've seen a lot of child claymores. Well, no, wait, is Saya the only one?
There are no
We've got a lot of
children. There is that.
Oh, that's true. No male children. But I don't know. I guess that doesn't matter to me as much as kit function matters to me. Like having like a Hydro shielder, or well, I guess Xingqiu is a damage mitigator and a pseudo healer. So
well, I still think we should have guaranteed like shielders for each element, especially. Excuse me. Anima shields. It makes 0 sense to have that, but if we had an anima shielder, that'd be pretty unique. Because there's no way to get an anima shield as of right now.
And you could just like, and then you could swirl by just like running into people with your anima shield. That'd be pretty cool.
Something like that, or it's like a constant cleanse, so you just proc yourself with Bennett 50 times. Works. That's very smart. Hey, listen, I just think having an anima shielder is nonsensical because most enemies in this game don't do anima damage. So like your main benefit isn't helpful. It's different with characters like Diona who at like C2 have 90% to everything. So it's like a mini Geo shield. But
or Xinyan who she's got 250% increased effectiveness versus pyro damage.
Yeah, what pyro endgame enemy, huh?
I guess there's Lecter.
Hold on. Here's a better one. What stage are you gonna reliably proc the full power of the shield, huh? Without constellations.
In Abyss?
Can't do that on Rune Serpent because you need a constellation. Oh, hold on. Get this.
Oh, wait.
You gotta remember.
Constellation on Xinyan?
Yeah, no. Without constellations, what are you gonna reliably proc the full power shield on?
Oh, you mean we're hitting 2 enemies? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying what floor on Abyss actually makes full use of her 250% effectiveness versus Pyro. I thought that.
Well, I mean that also applies because like there's no Pyro enemies in Abyss. They hardly put them in there.
Ooh, now I want an Animo Abyss Mage.
Hey, maybe we'll get more Abyss Mage or Abyss like Lectors and stuff more day, right?
Anyway, I feel like I blocked something you were gonna say. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, it was just about like Jinian's scaling and constellations. How you so with the constellation you get the level 3 on the shield, but you don't get the like shred because you're not hitting it with the E skill, right? So you have to get the level 3 and then like do it again with a level 2 shield, which I think the ult still overrides it because that was applied first, but still like you don't get the shred unless you do the E skill. Which is just
true.
It's like come on, bro. Like why'd you have to do that?
Do what? Frankie in chat or something?
Okay, look, you're right. There was a Pyro Cube. One time. In terms of type effectiveness, there's not many Pyro enemies in endgame stuff. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's a lot of Electro and Ruin enemies.
Anyway, I was mostly just mentioning Xinyan for the meme.
Listen, we can meme all day about Xinyan and how much I hate her. Pyro Slimes? Yes, because the slime is doing that
Power
much
Slime's an
damage to
abyss.
you.
Some of when they've got that little spinny like circle aura around them though, the power slimes can be pretty wicked. They were like there was
You're
an abyss
right.
where they had like they were like special mutant pyro slimes
Mm-hmm.
where you would get burned down really fast.
Whopper
But
flowers work. Okay, quit trying to stretch it, okay? Come on. Enough about this. Level 1 Jinian, that's enough damage by that? Dude. I
well,
You guys are
aside from Jinyan,
ridiculous.
we could also reenact some of our disagreements over Kuki or the official versus Raiden debacle.
They're equal, end of comment. But about Cookie, if you do want to talk about Cookie, I think she's better than what I initially stated of her being terrible. Um, but like the most I can give her is she's solid. Like damage sucks. She has alright healing. Uh, with the EM, especially with Ginger coming out soon, she could be pretty decent. But,
I feel like yeah, and I agree. She's definitely worse than Fischl, definitely worse than Raiden. Um, situationally worse than Beto. I would say worse than Yai. Yeah. Um, better situationally worse than Lisa, but usually better than Lisa. And I think overall better than Razor. Is that all the Electros? Did I name them? Oh, Sarah.
Ka-ching.
Sarah. Oh, Kaching. Yeah. I like Kuki more than most of those characters just because of how it follows you around. It's so hands off. Like it's
Mhm.
no field time required and it just follows you around. And so that to me is more enjoyable than most of the characters on that list. That she's so flexible like that.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, I agree that she's at least halfway down that list.
Dory
Maybe
would be
probably
better than
further.
Cookie. Well, in terms of speculation, possible. But what they've hinted at is that she's possibly an Electro healer. Now, I don't have any comments on that because it's not in game, but it seems kind of strange for me for them to release two Electro healers and one of them be at least overwhelmingly negative towards by the community and not make one that's just straight up better if if not like another option, right? For
I
like a
think
mono
Kuki,
Electro team.
everything about Kuki's ascensions and constellations are like all pointing toward building EM and encouraging an
Mm-hmm.
EM build. So it does really seem like she's meant for things like Hyper Bloom when Dendro gets out, which is the one where the pod sits on the ground and then you hit it with Electro, and then
Mm-hmm.
it does a little missile thing. Um, so if it's just that's a transformative reaction that's supposed to be 1.5 times as strong as Overload. Um, and Kuki, because one of her big problems is she can't do Electro on every pulse, it's every other pulse. But that resets for new enemies, and new pods are the same way. So as soon as the pod's on the ground, you hit it, a new pod comes down, and your next wave hits it, that it's fresh. So you're never going to hit a pod twice anyway. So it feels like she's in this perfect niche for Hyper Bloom specifically. But I still don't know if she's even going to be the best unit for Hyper Bloom, because a vision came to me while I was sleeping
Mm-hmm.
that in which Fischl was doing a fantastic job at being the Hyperbloom unit. So I'm worried for Kuki's future.
It, it's so one thing I do think is interesting that you brought up EA is I've been thinking about it more and I kind of want to move EA up on my rankings. This is a bit related, but she actually seems to be kind of underrated to some extent. Like people act like her damage is straight up bad when it's really not because my Yay consistently out damages my C2 Raiden. And I don't know if it's because of the setup, but like on average my Yay's doing like over 400k on her burst, and that's not including anything else like uh her turret damage, right? Or anything like that.
I just I got a little bit turned off from Yay, just or Yai or however, um, just because of the field time that she requires in a team, where she's like place, 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 Thunderbolt, place, 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 and then you're done with her. Like that's a good solid like at least 5 seconds for
Okay,
her to need to be on the field
I need to
as a sub
interject. So
DPS.
I know what you're saying, but like
Mm-hmm.
mono electro with Yay is pretty good. The only problem is that Kazuha doesn't heal, right? And since it's, you know, Sara Raiden, yay for like big damage on Kazuha. It's kind of a glass cannon team, but it is fun. And Bright saying C6 Sara carries, even without Kujo Sara, like Yeisha's just gonna be doing more damage in that case, because Raiden's the one who's relying more on the 6-second timer for damage. If you just had Ye full EM on like a like with Bennett, she can do, I've seen it before, 100k damage per turret, like hit, right? Which is ridiculous. That's gonna happen for like 14 seconds uptime, right? That's really impressive. And so you
Wait, 100k from the turret itself, you said?
C68, 100k from the turret itself.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting. But her turret lasts for 14 seconds. But yeah, I find personally the uptime isn't an issue, and I am talking whale level, but if you have a C6 Raiden, you do get a cooldown on the ultimate. So it's better for the mute my mic for a second. The ult spam nature of Electro, like Mono Electro. I just think it's a fun team. That's why I've been using an Abyss recently. It's actually, the funny note about that is that I've had the easiest time with that team out of everything against the Ruined Serpent. I don't know. I'm sure someone in the chat's gonna say it's a skill issue.
The team that's been like my little source of joy, like that sparks joy for me in the last 24 hours has been Xingqiu, Kuki, or Xingqiu, Kuki, Diluc, and Zhengling. I just like threw them into Abyss on the opposite side from testing my new Yoimiya, and they did the Ruined Serpent in one try without having to reset for full stars. And it was like Xingqiu, Kuki, Diluc, and Zhengling worked surprisingly well for me, and so I'm liking that a lot, because you were just speaking of Ruined Serpent with that team. Yeah. It just works really well because
Fischl.
I tried it with Fischl instead of like. Oh, but, instead of Kuki.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I haven't tried with Diluc instead of Kuki. I've done like Fashional, like where Fischl instead of riding in a national. That works pretty solidly. But honestly, against the Serpent, I really like Kuki because she has 100% uptime with no field time, so you never have to worry about being in the Serpent's phases. It's just a given that it's going when he comes above ground. And on the EM build, that means that it's getting, from any probably you get like 10k on Electro Charge, and you get like 16 or 17k on Overloads. Okay. And that's just like a little bit of added stuff. Mm-hmm.
So like, genuine question about that. For my Cookie, do you think I should change her tendency build from full HP to EM?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah? You think that's the way to run it?
I think so. I think that's going to be what's going to make her good when Dendra comes out too, is the EM. For the Hyper Bloom, she's going to be hitting like, if it's true that it's 1.5 times overload, then mine is just going to be getting like 23k on Hyper Bloom procs from Kuki for every pod that pops out, and it's going to be like more if you swirl with VV. Like that's without the team buffs. I think EM, and because her healing also scales off of HP as well, or her healing also scales off of EM, not as much as HP, but I think a fully I'm quoting something that I saw because I haven't actually run the numbers myself, but 80%. If you go fully EM versus full HP, it's like 80% of what you would have gotten on the full HP for your heals.
So I'm only losing about 20% HP.
Oh yeah, 20% on heals. She's going to be a lot less health bar-y, but her heals supposedly are still 80% of what they were on an HP build because of her EM healing scaling. I think that's an Ascension talent. I think. For that scaling.
Her talent, she gets 75% healing from Emerald Mastery.
Kokomi getting rebound in 3.0?
Maybe I shall try that. Yeah. Okay. So Frankie mentioned that supposedly the next banners are, uh, uh, so it's Tanari, obviously, right? We have Funny Fox
Mhm.
Boy. People are saying it's Tanari Zhongli and then Ganyu Kokomi.
Hmm.
Interesting. I think that second half is a fat skip, because that weapon sucks. But who
And
knows?
I'm
Probably
already a
makes it be
Zhongli,
cool.
Ganyu, and Kokomi haver.
Hmm.
So Tenari is the only thing, and I've got the C2 Zhongli.
Yeah.
Kokomi, Kokomi's C1 is just like a fish that pops out and does like a little extra damage. So I'm not too hyped about that. Ganyu's C1 doesn't it like give her more energy or something on a charge shot?
Oh
Which
no,
and I'm
I
not a
don't know
charge
about
shot
that.
Ganyu because I'm a freeze Ganyu. So all of those 5 stars for me are a skip. I'm just going for the fischl when I see the fischl.
Ganyu C1, you get uh, decreased cryo res on hits, which is actually pretty
Oh,
good, and then you get 2 energy.
I missed the res. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Hmm.
This effect can only occur once per charge shot arrow, regardless of if the frost flick arrow itself or bloom hits the target. So, yeah,
Okay. The cryo
that's
res that's pretty
interesting.
good.
Yeah. But
Well,
so the thing about Kokomi, actually, I don't think your constellations are worth getting at all. Um,
hmm
because like these are damage constellations. You do have the one
yeah.
that helps with healing, like the C2, but the rest are all damage. And typically, unless Kokomi is the like main DPS for a electrocharge team, she's run as a like hydro enabler for your other
hmm
characters. Um, and I don't really see a reason why you'd want to increase her damage.
Yeah. The only team where I run Kokomi for like a little bit of her personal damage is if I go like Bennett, Jangling, Kazuha Kokomi, so that like getting a lot of pyro application. And even then, she sometimes overtakes the pyro application with autos, especially for jellies out. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think her best teams are freeze and electrocharge anyway, and those are both teams where her personal is kind of de-emphasized, especially in freeze. But
Yeah.
I have a question. What is your biggest regret in terms of the pulls that you've made in Genshin? Like, is there a 5 star of anything that you've gotten that you would put back for something else?
Oh,
And don't count the ones that are like where it's like, oh, I got like a C3 Kaching. I wish I could put some
you're
of it
talking
back
about
or something like.
event characters. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
can already answer that question easily. I talk about it all the time. I regret pulling Tartaglia. I hate this character. I hate everything
Oh
about him.
no.
Legit, the only use for him is inside events, like mobbing events. That's the only use I have found for this character. I hate him. Like I don't even use Albedo like at all, and I rather have
What?
Albedo than my Tartaglia.
Wow.
Like it, I, I
That's
hate, dude. I cannot with this character. I only have him because I was like I don't know. I was dumb. I was dumb idiot GoldDemon back then. I was listening to insert YouTuber here that I very much dislike, and they were calling him best character in the game, and so I summoned for him, only to hate him, especially with his terrible cooldowns. I can't stand playing as this character. It just feels bad not having access to everything else like what I would with my other characters. Like there's no plunge attack. His animations are pretty stiff. He's good if everything's grouped up, but not having someone like Venti or Kazuha limits my use of that. And then the only time I would actually use them is in like a taser team, specifically against like 2 enemies or in a mob scenario, right, with Beto, which is typically only in those events, not in something like Abyss. That's sometimes an Abyss, but you can't group up rune enemies, and so there goes half of his use for most Abysses. Like, I just hate this character. I see no reason to get for him. Like, I'd rather have Kokomi than Tartaglia. Like,
I can
unironically.
agree on that. I would not give up my Kokomi for a child. I would not do that. But it's funny
I
that you
don't
say
like
that
this character.
because it's kind of child is my regret for not pulling. So I'll take your child. I want
We can
because I
trade
have
Child for Kokomi.
no. I want to keep the Kokomi. You can have my you can have Ayato.
I'll take Ayato.
Or
Yeah, sure. That works.
yeah. Um but I have the components of his best teams already highly invested. So I could run international. I can run a few different versions of the taser with him, and I want to try him in soup, where I would go like
What's
Bennett. Soup is it's a combination of Animo, Hydro, Pyro, Electro, where the best variant of soup is Bennett, Kazuha. People say Ayato and Fischl. That's like supposed to be the best in slot for the soup combo. But what I want to do is use Kuki, Child, Bennett, Ayato, or sorry, Kuki, Child, Bennett, Kazuha, and use Child as the driver at the end of the combo. I don't know. I don't know if it'll actually be higher DPS, but I feel like because Child has adjustable cooldowns, that he's gonna be cool to like just slot into different teams when I need. Because the shorter you go with his skill, the shorter the cooldown is, and the longer you go, the longer the cooldown is. He like can fit places. And because his Hydro application is like it's the fastest Hydro application in the game. That's and it's also manual, so it never goes off when you don't want it to. Like if you do Ayato burst, then suddenly you kind of like gave up control of the order in which your reactions happen. But if I'm Child, I know exactly when the Hydro is happening, and it's going to be a ton of Hydro. So I know that there's going to be a learning curve where I like get an internal sense of the timer for how long I can actually have his cooldown going without screwing myself over, and that might be a bit challenging. But he's the one that I want right now. If I had to put one back, would I put one back? If we're talking about my like, probably my least used 5-star at this point, it might be Shenhe. But that's also just because I stopped playing Freeze, because Freeze doesn't feel as dynamic to play. It feels kind of passive.
It's also
when
not
you
very strong against rune enemies.
Yeah, that too.
Like all the bosses inside of well, I mean it's strong against some rune enemies, but all the bosses and the ones that go immune inside of like the current abyss, you can't do anything with that. Like freeze isn't effective. But hey, that's why Ayaka helps. Also, Bright. Skyward Harp isn't bad. It's very good. Like, and Banger pointed this out. You're saying it's because it's a bad build. No, I have a good build on my Child. I just hate playing him. Like, he's invested, right? I have his E skill at level 8. I can't. It wasn't as favorable as me using physical Kaching back then. And it still isn't now. Like, I used Ever-Descent Bow. Then your build's worse than mine. But anyways, Harp is going back on Sara because that's where it belongs. I'm not a fan of that character. Skyward Pain? You guys are just tripping. Overrated? How am I overrating a weapon that gives you 2 crit stats? I feel that's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I think out of the Skyward series, Skyward Harp, I would rate it the best out of those 5. Or is it only? No, yeah, it's 5. Yeah, Claymore,
Yes,
bow, sword, spear, catalyst. Yeah. Oh yeah, the catalyst is the one with the big attack stat. It's like a 674 base with attack percent.
Catalyst is the one that gives you the elemental bonus by 12%.
12%.
And oh my god, I can't let up honey right now. I was gonna check all the stats. Wow. Unfortunate. Anyways, if I had to pick between those 3 like Skyward weapons, probably I'm picking Harp.
Me too.
Like it's
Although for me, I don't have any 5-star spear yet, or polearm. It's the only weapon type that I don't have a 5-star of yet, and that's just been like bad luck. I've gotten 2 claymores, like I feel like 3 swords, just 1 bow 5-star. But yeah, anyway, spear is the only one that I'm missing. I've got 2 5-star catalysts as well. But so I want to level up my Jingling with a 5-star weapon.
I don't have a 5-star Claymore. I have a 5-star of everything else. And I have some pretty good ones. I only have bows and a sword. Hey, it's RNG, man. That's what happens in a gacha game. Layers and layers upon RNG. Yeah.
Well,
so, what? You got something to say?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna segue,
Mm-hmm.
but your week in Genshin. Has there been anything that was exciting that happened in your week in Genshin?
I haven't pulled Yoimiya. There,
But you're
that's
close, right? You gotta be at like 60 pity, right? Like a couple
I'm
nights ago, you said you were 56, I think.
I'm at like 57,
Okay,
and I'm 57 on guaranteed, and so I'm sitting here just wanting
it'll
to get
happen.
her.
So you still got like 16 days. That's definitely enough time. It like
If I
it's
spend
guaranteed
money,
to
it's
happen.
enough time.
No, no, because we've got the new event where you like jump around and plunge and things. Like new levels of that are still unlocking to. Um, have you done all your hangouts? I only do them when I
No,
get desperate.
dude,
Yeah.
I was making Serenity bot sets to farm
Hmm.
primos. Like that's
Oh
that's that's
yeah.
how bad it was. Like
Hmm.
I have quests stacked up that I can do in Hangouts, but I really don't want to do them.
Yeah. I like the only way. Well, it depends on how invested I am in the character. Like for Bennett's, I like Bennett. He's one of my favorite characters. So like I actually kind of paid attention to his. But some of them, if I'm not interested in the character, I'll just like put on a YouTube video and I'll like listen to the YouTube video while I kind of spacebar
Hmm.
mash through the Hangouts that way. I've saved up some that I actually am interested in. Like I'm really interested in Betos and Cookies, and
Hmm.
not as interested in Hazos.
You
My
know,
alt Hazo, by the way, has carried me through Abyss lately.
I've made this joke about the Hangouts that every single 4-star is gonna get a Hangout before Jinien does, and that
Hmm.
trend is still going on.
At least she's been featured in like 3 different events at this point. I feel like maybe 4, 3.
Jinien has
She was
more
in the
content than Lisa, yeah,
yeah
which is a
she was in
surprise.
Labyrinth Warriors.
Also,
She's in the one right now at the islands.
yo, I just found someone that's running the Kazuha sword on Kazuha.
Freedom Sworn?
No, 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 it's not called This Is a Sword, is it?
Oh, the Fillet
Um,
Blade.
no, 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 the one from his quest, the new one that gives attack.
Oh,
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, the one hangout that I've like actually paid attention to is Noelle's.
mm-hmm.
That's
Same.
is that my favorite hangout?
I
I know, I enjoy Noelle. And
I do
it's like
have
that's all
a
I care
Noelle room in
about.
my teapot with portraits from her hangouts around the walls.
How do you do that? I need to make that.
Oh yeah, they're craftable.
I
Um,
had no idea.
yeah, it's something memory, and it looks like just an empty frame when you craft it in your teapot. I think the everyone has the recipe. It's one that just got like automatically added. Um,
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I think they're among the more greedy items for load space. Like I know they're over 100, maybe 2 or 3. So I've only got 3 of them in the room, and then the rest I filled with like the little dinky other artwork.
Hmm.
3.1 is Candace Hangout.
Candace. What a funny name. Why would they legitimately make a character with the name Candace? Like, come on.
They knew what they were doing. They knew,
100%.
or someone had to know. Maybe someone who like proposed the idea didn't realize what was going on, like an older executive, and then everybody on the staff was like, "Tee."
The that name has been ruined by the internet. Like you
Mhm.
cannot, in good faith, name your child Candace in 2022 or any year beyond that. Like it's not
Pretty
happening.
much. Um,
I have an interesting question I
well,
just came up with.
mhm.
What would be your like dream character?
Oh, like that doesn't exist. Like I could just make one up.
Hmm.
It'd be Noelle once she gets a skin. It's when they add a Noelle skin. No, uh, hmm, I want to say like Animo is like the most fun because you get to throw things around a lot.
Hmm.
But I was going to give an answer, but I'd basically just be like redesigning a slightly different Kazuha.
I mean, then
Because he's already, yeah, he's very close to perfect already in terms of fun factor. Because yeah, the most important thing for me now, because Abyss isn't an issue, is just to have a variety of characters on the roster and have them feel good to use. So it would have to be a character that feels good to use. So maybe like a Noelle sword with the infusion where it's massive, but it's even bigger. It's twice as big. You just like cleave the earth in half.
I think that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Actually, I've talked about this many times. For Murta, the God of War, I always want her to be like, Murta from Honkai, where it's her like final battle suit, and the ultimate is just a massive nuke. So like she flies up and I don't know, charges a massive ball of fire and then slams it into the ground and just wipes the field. I think that'd be
It's like
sick.
Zhongli meteor style, but like flaming.
Basically, yeah, really cool. And it's like using a big sword, like a big claymore, just slams into the ground. It'd be awesome. Um, but my like ideal character, and Bright actually had this, I guess, has the same idea, but it's an anime character that absorbs elements put on the battlefield, and then they like use that element to fight. So like they're
For like an
multi-element, but
extended period
they're
of time.
really, yeah, like multi-element, but they infuse themselves with that, right?
They're
It's
pretty
like
cool.
anime unit
Ooh, and
that
they could like
infuses themselves.
take on different characteristics. Kind of
Hmm.
like elemental resonance gives you different buffs too.
Yeah,
They could like have a different trait or like
exactly.
change visually. That'd be so cool.
Hmm. And so it's like their e skill would be like a counter, right? That if it's inflicted with an element, or if you have an element applied to yourself, they become that element. Like the counter becomes that element, and that's how they
Mm.
absorb it, right? And then the ultimate is just like it like pulls in enemies and then bursts out with whatever element is infused. It'd be
That'd
pretty
be pretty
cool.
sick.
It's just like a raw anime DPS. And the weapon doesn't really matter as long as they do something like cool and unique. So like maybe they one hand a sword, but then like there's a punch combo in there or something. I don't know.
Nice.
That's Hinzo. It's not the same thing. Character with RPG, honestly. I mean, we have
R-
Ganyu.
What's RP? Wait, what's
Rocket
RPG mean in
propelled
this
grenade.
context?
Rocket propelled grenade,
Ah,
like an actual
not role
rocket
playing game.
launcher. Yeah.
So you're talking about like Sims within Genshin, character who plays RPG within the RPG.
I
But
mean, we do have nerds in Genshin.
we have fireworks. That's at least projectiles.
I want a character that looks
Um,
like Joker from Persona 5. Really, Frankie?
speaking of speaking of Joker in Persona 5, I recently downloaded Alchemy Stars to my phone, and they had a limited time event where you could get Joker from Persona 5 um, as one of your playable characters. I didn't get him. I got somebody else from Persona 5.
That's an
I got
actually
like,
interesting thing you brought up. Crossovers for this game. We've had one
oh yeah, because we have
crossover.
Aloy.
That's
Hmm.
terrible.
Give me
Aloy's
give me
terrible.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Or actually,
Hey,
no, don't give me
you know
Sora.
what? You should
Give me
leave right now just
Goofy.
for saying that.
I want
Honestly,
to play as Goofy, Goofy in Genshin. Yolk.
you need help, man. You really need help. If dude, I'm gonna scream to the end of time. Sora is the lamest character to ever be added to Smash. I don't care.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot they did.
He's
I
such a
haven't played
lame
Smash very
addition.
much.
It's a very good
I used to
game.
play Smash on my. I had a. There was a. In elementary school, my friend named Brandon, we would play on his GameCube with a doopa 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 doom boink with the startup animation,
Hmm.
and he had Brawl where there was Mewtwo on there. I always wanted to play as Mewtwo because I was into Pokemon.
True. Okay, so Tess, you are new here. Thank you for watching the stream. But I would like to mention I actually made a video on why they put Aloy into the game, and it basically boils down to it's because of promotion for the PS5. Genshin came
Oh,
out on the PS5, and they also were getting cross save to work. It's a little unknown fact about uh, PlayStation, but they're very stingy on cross saving and cross play between games. Normally, how it works, and I explain it a bit better in the video, but and I should have shown a graph really, but basically, they what they do is you implement you put your game on PlayStation, right, for whatever your contract is and whatever. But then you're forced to pay like royalties to have uh cross features, right? So if they want to implement cross save into a game or like cross play into the game, they have to pay for what PlayStation considers that portion of revenue. So yearly, Genshin and MiHoYo is having to pay PlayStation to keep Genshin like cross play and stuff going. It's pretty anti-consumer considering like so many games really should just have crossplay, and PlayStation is the only one that just like they're like, yeah, you're paying us to have crossplay. Like Microsoft, Steam, Nintendo, they don't do any of that. Nintendo might, I don't know, but as far as I know, they don't. But yeah, it's a really weird predicament, and my assumption was basically Aloy was a part of the deal to get Genshin to have full cross save and cross play added. They're like, hey, promote us and we'll help you with your feature, sort of thing. I think it's pretty cringe because we're never going to get anything else related to Aloy. It's not happening, like at all. She's going to stay terrible.
Aloy Constellations when?
It's never happening. It's never going to happen. She's going to stay terrible and she's going to sit there, probably deleted from any player's boxes, because I don't know if you saw that, but people like just straight up hated Aloy's existence, so they didn't accept her. And so this free face are just going to disappear whenever that male disappears.
Was it an anniversary? Was she anniversary?
She came out, so she wasn't specifically related to anniversary, but she was a part of it. She came out within that. Was it? It was either 2.0 or 2.1, and then it was other platforms could get her in like 2.2, and then like the deal ended at 2.3, right? So if you didn't get that, you wouldn't have received Aloy. So players after 2.3 can't get her.
Because I was going to say maybe we get one constellation per anniversary. By the time we make it through all the nations, we have C6 Aloy, and she's surprisingly the strongest character.
Yes, because you can definitely make use of her full passive buff 100%. It definitely doesn't run out by the time you're actually at your good damage, right?
I mean, constellations could say anything. We don't know. Maybe they just won't exist. Oh, remember during Labyrinth Warriors, there was one that would give you a constellation on your characters. So you could take Aloy in there, and you would look, and you would see that she had her constellation 1 is lit up, but it still didn't do anything.
Yeah, she has nothing, and listen, she's usable, guys. She feels awful to play, but she is at least usable, right?
Yeah. I'll go up to bat for Jinyan and for Kuki, but I can't for Aloy.
You can't for Aloy.
Because and not because she's necessarily worse. I think she's worse than Kuki. I don't know if she's worse than Jinyan or not, but she feels worse to me to play than those two do. Because Jinyan has this super dynamic ult where it's like you go up and slam down.
No, I would
fireworks.
I would
like
say,
that feels good to use.
I would say Aloy is definitely just straight up the worst character in the game. And I dog on Jinyan fairly, right? I mean, some would say too much, but I fairly dog on Jinyan. But Aloy is legitimately just worse because at least Jinyan has a place. Aloy does not.
You think Aloy versus Toma, Aloy still loses?
Yeah, no, of course Aloy loses against Toma. Toma actually has a usable shield.
True.
Like, Aloy, I don't know what she has. An animation lock for 5 seconds? Like, you throw it and you're stuck there for, like, multiple seconds.
Oh, I haven't used her extensively. I don't think I leveled her up to where I actually have her passive ascensions. So I don't even really know what her full kit is. I know she infuses herself to be cryo. So you could put the rust on her if you want to.
All you need to know is that her E skill, you're stuck in an animation lock for like multiple seconds, and so it just feels bad to play. You can't cancel it, right? So you sort of have to like stop and throw it, and then you're stuck there. And then
I know she generates a ton of energy with her skill, but it's on a really long cooldown.
Yeah, it's in like it's a 20-second cooldown. Yeah. That's that's really
pretty
bad.
rough.
Considering her ultimate is on a 12-second cooldown. That is bad.
Well, I want to brag about things that happen in my week in Genshin because my alt is 36ing Abyss now. My free-to-play Asia account has now 36ed Abyss for the first time, and I didn't even say this to anybody yet, but I did yesterday for the follow-up to 36 because I just did it like on the previous round, and then it reset. And then when I went in this time, I did have to reset on 12.1 and 2 several times, but on 12.3, my free-to-play Asia account did not have to reset on 12.3 when getting 36 stars. And that was crazy to me based on the 30, 40, 50 times I reset on the previous rotation. So I'm very pleased with myself.
Humble flex, a little bit of a brag. I will say, so Bright said Sekapoko made Aloy good, hitting a 192k nuke. So here's the thing. Welled out supports to buff up the one ultimate. I've seen it hit upwards of 300k on I Want to Lose's channel, and that's not impressive. That's not impressive. The thing is, dude, Chi-Chi can do that. Everyone dogs on Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi can do that. So you're telling me, Aloy, who has nothing going for her except for an ultimate that it hits. It hits. In fact, hits. Is worth it?
Chi-Chi's also a pretty good driver sometimes too.
Who?
Because she's got Clam now. But Chi-Chi is a pretty good driver sometimes for teams. When they first released Rift Hounds into Abyss to like promote Kokomi and try to make people use Kokomi, Chi-Chi, I basically just used Chi-Chi at the head of a national team to like make it through the Rift Hounds.
Chi-Chi, when active, actually has good healing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But granted, it's like, yeah, that's all she does, healing. Okay, but can Aloy hit 1 million? No, she can't. Especially when Kazuha Shinra. Yeah, see, Tess, you're right. You can nuke and support just about every character to an extent, but it's like, when you have Aloy hitting for at most 300k, that's not really impressive. Like, that's not really impressive. Like, think about it like this. Aloy, biggest setup in the world, hit 300k. Another character who's dogged on somewhat, Yay, right? Hits 100k, like, every second with her E skill, right? It takes 3 seconds to do what Aloy can do every, I don't know, let's say 20 seconds? At peak, by the way. I'm picking the Yay. Or, you're right, just play Eula and do over 300k plus every, 15 seconds, right? Like, it's free. It's free real estate.
Yeah.
Oh, can I finally make this and get enough primos? I'm building like my teapot in the background, and it's driving me insane. Do I have enough to get 20 more primos? I don't.
Oh, for that characters sucks. In there?
Yeah, I have all my friendship characters in here, honestly. I say Diona can out DPS Aloy. Dude, yeah. Wait, StatJunkie, have you seen Diona like one-shot the Priojima Bishop?
No.
Okay, guys. Legitimately, Diona can out DPS half of the roster. It's not a joke. I'm gonna pull up this
one of her constellations boosts her charge attack, right? Is that C4?
No, it's with her E skill.
Oh.
The E skill, so you just melt the E skill.
I know Shenhe is kind of nice for her E skill because it buffs every single one of the hits, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh god, I have to find it. I've seen Diona like nuke an insane amount.
Is it like Bennett, Kazuha, Shenhe, Diona, or something like that?
I have to find the clip. Oh, thank you for the follow. Dude, I cannot find it. You should also look this up. But like,
all right.
Diona nuking maybe?
Diona, one shot, Primo, Geo, Bishop. Child, one shot. One shot. Level 1 Diona versus Primo Bishop. Here, I'll just search Diona one shot.
Anyways, look, I may have been exaggerating with the Primo Bishop. The point is, Diona can just melt like crazy.
I know, because her C6 can like buff herself, right, for the mastery
yeah, she gives
too.
herself 200.
So she is her own support.
Oh wow.
Can I like?
Yeah.
I need to find this.
Power guys. Boom. Oh,
Do
12,000.
how closely do you
charge.
follow
I can't find
the
it.
Dendro reaction leaks?
I haven't followed leaks that aggressively this update, right?
Mhm.
But I am aware that there are a significant amount of Dendro reactions in terms of artifact sets that will boost a lot of characters, specifically electric characters, up in terms of what they can do. And the new set, from what I've seen, looks pretty competent on EA, right? But yeah, Bright Diana Shield is actually really good. Quit lying to everybody. Also,
My Diona shield just feels bad because it's not as invested.
didn't you say yours was like level 6, right?
Level 8,
Well,
and her health is 23k.
yeah, you get that up, get over 30k. But Tess, so I believe every bow character's initial hit is the same. Ganyu's is only different because of her Frost Flake arrow. But yeah, you can do pretty impressive damage with Diona on the arrow hit, right? With a melt. Yeah,
I'm not going to build a DPS Diona.
Point is, look, I am exaggerating a little bit on one-shine the Primo, but I'm sure that someone can find a clip out there of Diana doing insane damage. Just understand, don't build DPS Diana, build her as a shield bot. Like, please, I beg of you. If I see a DPS Diana out in the wild, I'm gonna be afraid.
I tend to just not use Diona a whole ton on my teams, partly because I don't have her C6 yet, and I do have Bennett at C6, and then I have Kokomi, and so it has to be a team where I want Diona more than Kokomi or Bennett, which is just rare for me.
I mean,
Or G.
see, the thing is, it's because you don't. I would say it's mostly because you don't use a lot of physical characters, or you probably don't need the battery like slash healer that you would need to run Diana for, right? Because she's gonna help with everything that you don't use, basically.
Yeah, I used her on Morgana for a long
Yeah,
time on Morgana
she's
team.
basically key to the Morgana team.
But then once I got Kokomi and then Shenhe, I subbed out the Mona and well, really my Morgana team turned into Shenhe, Kokomi, Ganyu, Kazuha. And that was like my new Morgana that I use for freeze. What makes a character bad? Asks Bright. That's
Diana one-shot.
It's a big question.
Wait, is Diana one-shotting the flower? wait. Hold on, I gotta show this screen. I think this guy one-shots the flower with Diana. Okay, what's half health? Okay, well, look. The point is, she's good. And Bright, to answer that question about what makes a character bad, in my opinion, is if their kit doesn't function well. Example, Jinyan's kit. It's nonsensical, so I would call them bad. That's about it. If they have a kit that functions, it doesn't have like useless passives, I'm gonna call them good. Right? Example of a good kit but useless passive, Fischl. She has a passive that if you shoot Oz specifically, it does an amount of damage. Who is doing a charge attack on Oz in their gameplay? Who is making use of that? Like, that's just random.
just official enthusiasts, I guess.
They're either running a Copium physical Fischl or, just Oz.
Yeah. So, like, that would, I guess, so your answer is kit consistency?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they consistent with themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And then also just like, character can just be bad because they were given bad scaling. There's that. And then...
Yes, you could say that for Shinobu, right? Like, her damage scaling is terrible, right?
Or if they don't fill a niche that's needed. Or if they're like a duplicate of other characters that do the same thing slightly better.
I mean, people say that about Yeon, but like, on average, just like if you're taking a C6 Xingqiu versus Yelan, she's like hitting double damage with Xingqiu, with a little bit worse Hydra application. But like you get constellations, and she's the best DPS in the game.
It feels like honestly she's C0 Yelan versus C6 Xingqiu. She doesn't feel like a downgrade really. She feels sometimes like an upgrade. I think she's like just a side grade because you're giving up your damage mitigation and healing, and she applies Hydro slightly less because Xingqiu also has like proximity healing. You apply Hydro just for like touching the enemy, which is really great for Hu Tao. So if I had to run just one of them with a Hu Tao, I would always pick Xingqiu because then I'm always vaping, and I know that I'm always vaping.
Yeah.
But
I just
the damage bonus.
Yeah, running them together is good. I'm just saying, like in terms of character comparisons, like what he was saying, duplicate characters. You can have duplicate characters if they function differently, and she does to an extent, right? With constellations and the fact that she's like she basically becomes the best DPS in the game of C6. Which, dude, I've seen absurd stuff by that, but like actually absurd, like killing bosses while their shields are still up. I don't know. I think it's in the I Win to Lose video, but he calculated it with the damage reduction on the flowers. It should have over 1 million HP, and she nukes it in like a second.
Wait,
Yeah.
Diona, you said?
No.
Wait, which character?
Yelan.
Oh, Yelan. Sorry.
With the C6.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
But also
mine is not even the best. It's C0, but she's still doing like, I don't know. Just from her off-field stuff, she's doing maybe like 20k a second.
I don't know, she's very strong. I do enjoy playing her. She's fun. That was the most important thing. Like, I didn't even really intend on getting her. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? And this was like whenever, like, day one. And I got her, and I don't regret it at all.
Zip it around, tying people up. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's like I haven't even used her in Abyss that much. I just enjoy playing the character. I know. I guess actually that's a good question. What's your favorite character to play? I think I already know the answer to this.
Because I would guess that what you're guessing is Noelle, because I'm a Noelle main. Brief Noelle salesman moment. She heals shields and does DPS. Go build her.
Build Noelle, guys, please.
Although she does require a lot of investment. She benefits from being level 90. She benefits from her talents being maxed out, from having their artifact set, from having the right teammates also built into. So she's a high investment to get her high end out, and then those investments don't apply to a whole lot of other things, because what else are you going to use your Goro for if not a Geo team? It's going to be nothing. So like, it's a high amount of investment just for her. That's one downside, but she feels amazing. The Claymore hits feel amazing, and it feels also very good to be kind of invincible in your shield. So it's very satisfying, just oomph, slamming into things factor. So, is that that's I don't know if she's my favorite character to play. I don't know if she's the best feeling character to play though, because Kazuha is a competitor.
I would just consider like whatever you think is the most fun as well, I guess.
Let me look at a list of characters. Where are all the characters? I got a sheet of them somewhere here.
You can also just open up the game.
Oh, I have it open. That's how I'm at the bar right now. If I move around in the game, then I'll change my background.
Oh, okay.
Most fun to play.
I say C6 Xiao's the most fun. My Xiao's only C0, but bro, that build. Let's take a look at this thing. Beautiful. 90% crit rate. 214 crit damage. I love this build.
90% crit rate?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I'm on the way to the 1-to-2 ratio, 100 crit and 200 crit damage. I'm gonna
stick with my answer. I think the character that I have the most fun playing is Noelle. But I think I actually stopped having as much fun with her when I built her for the highest amount of personal damage. think the most fun I ever had playing Noelle was when I had an R5 Favonius sword on her. Because then I didn't feel like she was the only one doing damage, and I had to do a full team combo before I go into her. When I want her to be like a huge DPS, then it feels bad for Overworld. It feels good for Abyss, but bad for Overworld because it's like you get through your full combo, and then the enemy's dead before she even hits anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like Favonius Noelle. It's probably the most fun character to play, in my opinion. Favonius Noelle.
Mine's probably gonna be either. Nothing ever lines up on the setup in Overworld. That is true. Also, this guy already has Noelle built. StatJunkie. So, hey, join the Discord and flex your Noelle build. I want to compare. But
Tess has Noelle built?
Mm-hmm.
I have a triple crown level 90 Thresher 4 Husk, crowned C6 Goro, crown C6 a Yunjin. It's I'm actually, one thing I'm trying to do right now is beat the Noelle world record.
Mm-hmm.
Every Monday there's a chance that it'll happen, and we get to find out. The world record right now is just over 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I mathed it, and with Lisa on the team, it's possible for me to beat it. But
honestly, 1 million seems
RNG
kinda
on
low
the
for
spawns
that.
too.
Like,
It's held by Desert of Flame, yes.
Yeah. That just seems kind of low to me. I'm sure they can hit over 1 mil like easily.
Yeah.
It's just RNG.
I think under ideal conditions, when I get the perfect bounty, which Desert also has not gotten. He has not gotten the perfect bounty with the res shred. Then I'll be able to hit about 1.2 million, a little like 1.24 million on a plunge. But yeah, she suffers heavily from not having any reactions, so she's all natural, no vapes, no melts.
I say that's impressive though.
Yeah. But so far I have 933k is my thing. And then after that, and I posted that in the Noelle main server, Desert of Flame DM'd me in Discord. It was like, "Hey, I saw you trying to hit 1 million damage on Noelle." I was like, "Oh yeah, hi." And then he asked to see the build, so I posted my artifacts. I showed him. I did not tell him that I was transitioning to Lisa though. That's a secret. Don't tell him that.
The funny thing is that you really should refine your Stone Thresher just to confirm it. Like, yeah, no one's beating this.
Actually, that will not increase the plunge damage on the bounty. Because it's only normal and charge that benefit from the passive.
You get more defense.
And then it's defense percent. But I snapshot with White Blind though. I build all 5 stacks on White Blind, so it's like 90% defense on the White Blind. Then that's when I launch the ult, and then I switch weapons.
Right, because it stacks defense. You know, that's the crazy thing. Weapons that actually stack, and I mentioned this of Rancor, that a physical Kaching can out DPS a electro Kaching because of like weapons like Rancor, just stacking attack for free.
Speaking of Thresher refines, though, I did confirm with Kate, the wife. I was like, I want to spend money the next time that Redhorn Stone Thresher comes out. So I was like, I just gave her a heads up. It's like, it's probably going to be like 6 months or something. But in 6 months or so, I'd like to spend money on this weapon, and I think that's the first time I'm actually gonna do a top up in the game. Is the next time that Thresher pops up. It's when I'll break my welcome battle pass streak. Or maybe I'll just save hardcore until then. For the next 5 months, I spend on nothing. We'll see.
I just run
even then, I don't
Kaching
think
instead of Electric Kaching now. Oh my god, this dude. Okay, Electric Kaching is unironically like kind of the best way to run Kaching. Or Cryo Kaching. Because of the free crit. You just get the spam charge attacks, but
Cryo Kaching, you free crit because of Cryo Resonance?
Yeah. Cryo Kaching, right? So using Chongyun, you get free crits. You just build all crit damage, and you can have like 300 crit damage, and still have good crit rate. Because Kaching gives herself some crit rate.
Oh yeah, after the burst, she like gives herself 20% or something.
It's
something like that. Okay. I watched a video of Kiching beating the max score on the D-Luke event, the Hidden Strife, doing like the Dire Straits difficulty, beating all of those levels with Kiching, and it was just like different types of Kiching one after the next. It was like Electro Kiching one time, Pyro Kiching the next time, and they did it. It was the same Kiching, obviously, but C6 Bennett and all that. So Tess is someone who has a C6 Bennett. Respect. Commitment.
C6 Bennett. I didn't even think about that.
Because that's how you do Pyro Kiching.
Yeah, I'm never C6ing my Bennett, dude. I'll leave this annoying icon in the top corner.
I still have the icon. I don't even know how to get rid of it. There's something somewhere that I haven't accepted, or like a line of dialogue that I haven't read, and so I still have the exclamation point anyway, I think.
You just have to hover over the dialogue.
Okay.
Like, I'm doing it right now, and then boom, it's all gone. But yeah, Bennett C6, how sad. One day, they'll allow us to deactivate constellations, hopefully.
I just remembered, I don't know who it was back in chat, but was talking about how teams feel bad to play in Overworld because you can't do their full rotations.
Mm-hmm.
And the team that I was talking about a minute ago, where you do Xingqiu Zhengling, Kuki Diluc, is not that way. It feels very good to play in Overworld because you can beat everything. There's several different rotations that you can do. And I was talking in Discord about Chongyun National, the original National, being that way as well, where it felt very good to play in high-end content as well as Overworld because there was so much value in the character's skills and bursts, and you had so many options for rotation that you didn't feel like the team had one given rotation to do. When I play Noelle, it feels like the team has one rotation to do, and that can make it kind of boring. But I really love teams that where you mix and match, and it's like, do I want to react in this direction? Do I want to react in that direction? And that makes them feel really good to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know I didn't mention my favorite character, but it's probably gonna have to be like Raiden. I just love playing her, and then the whole like God aura is the real reason I summoned for her.
God aura? You mean like when her hair blows and all that?
Yeah, and like the big old ring, right? You pull up the ring that like so you haven't watched Dragon Ball, so you wouldn't know, but there's a character in Super called Fusion Zamasu, and so like when he fuses together and becomes Fusion Zamasu, he gets like a glowing white god aura, and then has a like big old ring like floats behind him, and it's similar to that, and it looks really cool, and I was like, yeah, this is sick, you know. She pulls out the sword, it's cool, and that's why I got her. Just the coolness factor. Being hot does apply to this, but I guess it's more bonus on top. Also, but I'm not supposed to see that. Oopsies.
I was gonna ask, who do you think is the most overrated Genshin character?
Oh, that's a good question. Most overrated Genshin character. Well, if we take a little sneak peek at this real quickly. Whoops. Probably Venti?
What are you looking at?
I just did a little sneak peek in my tier list, but in terms of like overrated characters, maybe Venti. I don't know, because it's hard to say who's pretty overrated, because I know a lot of characters are just dogged on by the community for like zero reason. Like Yoimiya, like yeah, she has faults, but they're not really a big issue. She still does insane single target damage. So
also looking at a full list of characters, because I don't know what my answer to this question either. Who is the most overrated Genshin character?
I feel like I'm gonna have to stick with Venti, because like the thing is, Zhongli is widely used, but there's a reason for his use. Venti, you only really have the grouping aspect for him. Yeah, I know, Frankie. I'm gonna look at that in a second. I'm just thinking of this question. Yeah, I don't really know who to say I would like say is overrated. Probably Venti or Ganyu. Because people still act like Ganyu is the best DPS in the game when she's not really. But yeah, alright, so let's take a look at this and continue.
Okay. Oh, I was gonna say maybe Ayaka, which is interesting because you said Ganyu. Because I think that Ayaka is really high skill to use properly. Because the targeting box for her burst, which is like her big thing, the box is kind of small. And then her dash can put her in the wrong place. So I never in my life would encourage a mobile player to get Ayaka. I would say that she's horrible for a mobile player to play. And I feel that way about Hu Tao as well. I
So
kind of feel that way about Zhao as well.
I
Yeah.
did have a little note on that. A little vision came to me that they may be fixing the dashing for characters, and this is across the board. So anyone who has a traversal E skill or like the special dash, it's getting a fix to it. So
I had
no
a
more
similar
getting
vision.
stuck on platforms.
Well, they're getting stuck, but that doesn't happen in Abyss anyway. I'm mostly
Well, not
worried
anymore,
about
but yeah,
the. Oh yeah, yeah.
they used to.
I'm mostly worried about. Oh, sorry, but the the moment where you pop up from your dash and you're about to land on your feet, but you can't fire your skill yet, and it's also not an iframe because the time
Oh,
lag
the
from when you
animation
come up,
look. Yeah.
yeah, the animation coming out of the dash is longer. When you're dashing regularly, you can dash and just press your button and it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get slapped around when there's a lot going on and I don't have a shield,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't properly dodge into an ability, and then I wind up like wasting more time floundering as a result.
So I totally understand that, but they also did do a little rework on how the dashing is for those two characters, so you might want to try that again. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like using Mona for like fighting because of the dash.
Yeah, same deal with Mona. That's part of why I kind of retired her, except for
Mhm.
showcases.
I just don't. Oh my god! Wow, this guy has some good builds. I just don't like really playing Mona at all. She doesn't feel effective unless it's her burst, unlike some other
You're looking at
characters.
Tessa's builds right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I'm looking at your screen too.
Tess had a pretty interesting build on Mia. He's running an EM Sands, which I can't even hate because like he's running Aqua Simulacra. So while the attack is low, he has really high crit stats, and assuming he's using this with Bennett, it's not going to be an issue, and this is actually like way better. But yeah, the build pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, this Yumi. Oh wait, the attack is kind of.
Yeah, the attack is
I
low, but
almost.
Bennett is like helping out with that, and so she's getting damage
Oh, that's
percent.
true.
Like, so
That's
she's getting
true.
damage percent from here, and then additional from the set bonus, and so like she's gonna hit really hard with this.
I was gonna say, if she's not with a Bennett, then her
Mhm.
damage is probably suffering from overinvestment into crit instead of attack. But if she's with the Bennett, then it's perfect.
The main thing that gave off Bennett is the fact that he's using EM Sands. Is like you just run attack unless it's specifically for. I believe this is for vape. I don't think this. Do you run her with Fischl? You just got her. Oh damn. I think for Fischl the overload, Fischl needs to have higher EM for that to work. I know that's how it is with Raiden because it procs after, but yeah. Eula. All right, nice, nice. You get some pretty good artifacts. Ooh, damn, what's this looking like? Oh, dude, your Eula's good. Especially with Broken Pines. A lot of attack. Damn. Oh, C2? Oh, dude, this dude has a better Eula than me. That
I don't
is
even know what
nice.
Eula's constellations do.
They're all damage.
Triple crowned.
Yeah,
Yeesh.
except for the C2. The C2 is for so it makes the charge and hold the same cooldown, so it's 4 seconds, which is really good. But yeah, they're all damage, and so this is how you hit over 1,000,000 damage with Eula. You just get a few constellations. I think so. Like at least from my experience, right? A free to play Eula or like a low spender Eula is gonna hit anywhere from the ballpark from 100k to 500k on your ultimate. As soon as you get a few constellations, that just skyrockets up to over 1,000,000. Like C6 Eulas, on average, hit over 1,000,000. and it's like her constellations tripling her damage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It also helps with your normal attack damage because a few of them are like fizz damage percent, right? And so you get really high percentage numbers, and so with someone like Bennett, right, it just exponentially boosts your damage. And I don't know if you've seen it, but there is a clip of Eula hitting for the damage cap, so 999 million, right? Like, there's a legitimate clip of that. It was someone, I think it was a combination of like, it was a combination of people like backing out of the game, right? So they load and back out, and then it was some like animation cancel. I think it was with food buffs, but it was like an animation cancel with the menus and pictures, and it might have been on mobile, but they were able to hit the damage cap inside of one of the daily bounties. It's a really like impressive video, but Eula's like the only character that can do something like that.
I was trying to think of how to do that very thing where you have people load in and out and they keep on applying buffs and they all kind of snapshot onto you and they leave. And I was trying to think of how to do that with Noelle. It's harder because there are so many buffs that exist in the game that are all like mastery or swirl based with Kazuha, that kind of thing. Or
so I believe it's gonna have to be someone with like a maxed out Bennett loading in and backing out, and then you do your rotation, right, with everyone else. But no idea. Rotate through people co-op and spam ult, basically. Yeah. Yes, so Tess, I know what you're talking about, the negative number Theater Mechanicus. So that is easily explained because Theater Mechanicus wasn't balanced. It's not meant to be. It's like an auto mode, right? The games, whenever it's a code thing, but there's a certain number of bits that you can have for this stuff because is it 32-bit? I can remember I think it's 32-bit, but basically, the number went so high over the cap that it just went the opposite direction in terms of how like hard it can hit. So it went to negative, right? Instead, it's crazy, but the number's like 32. I think it's like 32 billion or trillion. I don't know. Like negative 32 trillion on Theater Mechanicus, which is pretty cool. But you can't do that anymore because they changed the game a while back. And yeah, integer limit. I think the main reason they changed it, negative 200 billion. Yeah, negative 200 billion, yeah. I think they changed it because of Eula, specifically, because you were able, inside of events, well, not in events, but like what they did now, to hit, like, get over that cap, right? Like, legitimately, in a normal rotation, Eula inside of floor 7 has hit over 7 million damage. And I was like, how?
that reminds me. So like people talk about so the only like buffs that I feel like get talked about, there's like the Zhongli buff that happened in 1.3 and the Geo Shield buff. And then there's and then there was the transformative reactions buff where they just directly increased the scaling on them. But because of Eula, I remember there was like a week where everybody was like, are my normal physical attacks suddenly like just doing like half as much as they used to do? And everybody that I talked to was like, yeah, mine are doing that too. And it was right after Eula was released, like a week or two after she was released. It felt like all physical normal attacks had been nerfed. And did you experience that at all?
So
I never really checked in with.
I think that is like an issue with one thing, probably confirmation bias and just mass hysteria, because there was no buffs to fit, like there was no buffs to physical damage type. It was just specifically them getting a new set. And so you see a new set with new numbers and a new character that's a physical DPS, you kind of expect a higher number, right? But you're like, wait, this is actually kind of low. Because if you do the math, you're hitting the correct number. But no, nothing was changed about normal attacks during that time period. Transformative reactions just got a buff to how it scales up character level. So now at the higher end, there's more of a peak on the curve, right? And there was a few changes for EM because all transformative reactions got the better EM scaling as well during that update. The reason for that, I don't know, but it was probably because at Mihoyo saw that everyone was only using at least the high end vaporize, right? And they wanted the other reactions to be competitive. And to be honest, the main one that I think makes use of it is swirl. It's the only one that kind of needed that. But I see on average, my like sucrose, right, hit over 4K on the swirl, right, and that procs multiple times to groups of enemies. So I mean, that's a good change. That's worked.
I'm looking forward to hitting 45K with my cookie on Hyper Bloom. That's why I 90'd my cookie. It's a transformative reaction.
You know, look, if you can hit 45K on that, then good job. I will be impressed, because that's gonna happen pretty often.
I probably actually won't quite be able to get that because I've done 30K with an overload, but I think the team buff setups would have to change.
So
because I've already got to have a Hydro and Electro to make that work, so it won't be that. It won't be 45, but it'll be over 30. It'll be over 30.
I mean, you're gonna hit hard. Just you're gonna need to decide which character to do that on. You probably want to do it with Kolai because she'll does she provide a damage buff?
I know Dendro Traveler gives you an EM buff, like an 80 or something like
that. I don't know.
that.
I think Digital Traveler actually looks pretty strong.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be something we're gonna have to like look at later. And Tess, it is hard to test Eula on floor 7 because if used wrong or if without a C6 Bennett, you're gonna kill everything. Legit, she does too much damage, but I have seen with the proper setup, someone just going in the floor 7 against. I think it's something to do with like reactions, but you break the shield, like you do the full rotation, and you break the shield, and then stop, and the final hit is like above 7 million, right? But
if there's a Pyro Gunner, you could. Is the way to do it with C6 Bennett and not kill them all? You like get the Pyro infusion,
don't want to kill them,
and then you
hit
hit the Pyro Gunner.
Enemies to get stacks, right?
Yeah, so you hit the Pyro Gunner while you're Pyro infused, so that it doesn't do as much damage because he's got huge Pyro resistance or something like that. Is that how to? I'm just guessing.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was done on the Electro Gunner. I'm actually pulling up the clip because it's part of the topic, but I think it's cool.
I should 90 my Sucrose. I should 90 my Bennett.
You should 90 your Bennett. Let me get rid of this copyright music 1 second.
The only reason I haven't on my Bennett and Zhongli is they're both level 82 right now, and it's sentimental for me because I never leveled them up beyond 80, and they've gotten to 82 just through use, just through like killing enemies and stuff, and like doing domains. And so that's like, I don't know, that's a pride thing for me, where it's a marker of how much I use and like them. And so as soon as I get to 90, I'll just be like everybody else. I don't know. It'd be sad. I should still do it anyway though, especially for the Bennett.
Oh, dude, this is really technical. So because of the C6 Bennett, he's using it to time it so he breaks the shield with Eula on the final hit, right? But he's using the other dude to stack up. It's the two enemies. He's using one to stack up and low health, so that he hits it with Jinyan. He hits both of them with Jinyan to get the shred, the physical buff, and Wolf's Gravestone, the proc all at once. And then quick swaps it from so he does Mona first to get like the attack buff, but it's very fast. It's only a minute long, but all of this combo hits 7 million.
7 million.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. That's cool though. The Wolf's Gravestone on the Jinyan to be like a double buffer.
Well, yeah, you're getting a bunch of attack from here, so that's Bennett and Jinyan with that. You're getting like 75% attack just from those two. Actually, how much does Wolf's Gravestone get at R5?
R5? I don't know.
Yeah, this is like fully whaled out.
I know mine is 40 at R1, 40%.
Mm-hmm.
So just go up by like 10% each time or something?
It's R5 is double the effect. So,
so 80%.
Yeah, 80% attack. Wow. So those two together, you're getting 100% attack. It's an extra few thousand attack. Just for having Bennett and a Wolf's Gravestone on the team. So yeah, a lot of buff stacking.
I think I undervalued Wolf's Gravestone a lot. I think in general, I have undervalued attack percent on weapons across the board, just because I think I used to focus too hard on crit. I think
I feel like that's a common issue, honestly. And that's why, like,
yeah.
whenever I point out something like giving a recommendation for a character, I will take a look at the weapon and then see who it applies to a character most. A good example of this is like Kazuo's weapon, right? The prized Ishin Blade is what it's called, right? No, not that one. That's the fake version. Ah, yes. So Kazuo's weapon, right? It's like a mini Wolf's Gravestone. It's a similar passive. You hit an opponent and you get extra attack percent. This isn't a bad weapon. It's bad on Kazuo because he wants EM, but if you look at the list of characters for who wants this, who do you think would want this stat? Like this weapon that gives you just a ton of attack.
Give it on your screen right now.
The weapon or the
Oh, I'm
characters?
in
I'm
ads.
pulling up the characters.
Okay.
Out of the sword characters, who do you think would want this?
Chi-Chi, Jean for heals, but she already heals enough. And it buffs the whole team, right? Not Xingqiu.
No, it buffs the character. It's like Wolf's Gravestone.
Oh, mini Wolf's Gravestone. So, but it's only for them.
And I wish it was 30%
well.
instead of 15, but they didn't give it refinements.
Well, definitely Chi-Chi. Jean would be fine with it. Not Kuki, not Bennett, not Xingqiu. Definitely not Albedo. Anybody else it would be fine for. I feel like Chi-Chi and Jean actually have, like, since they have more attack scaling built into their kits, it's like, perfect, that's great, good stuff. And then Xingqiu, Kuki, Bennett have their own specific requirements, and Albedo are like definite no. And then the remaining 4, which is Kaya, Keqing, Ayato, and Ayaka, are like maybe. As long as it balances them out, then yes.
Okay, so you're close. I would say you would only use this weapon on 4 characters: Ayaka, Ayato, Keqing, and Kaya, because they are ones that can actually make use of it. Kaya has built-in energy recharge. Keqing really just only wants attack. She gives herself some stats, and this isn't a bad weapon for her. And then Ayato and Ayaka, they don't have any issues, and it's just a solid weapon. I don't think it's very good for Jean or Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi has an energy recharge problem. She doesn't generate her own energy. You're going to want to run a completely different weapon to get Chi-Chi. An example would be Favonia's sword. I find that's pretty much the only option to run on her. Jean, I'd say Inazuma sword is actually better off for her because it's giving her energy recharge on top of, instead of 15% attack. Right? And to continue, like, what I'm saying about the characters is, not all of this stuff applies equally, right? You got to consider it on like an independent character scenario. Like, who's going to make use of this and who's going to make use of this, right? Like, Harbinger of Dawn, right? You're not going to, it's a really good 3-star, but you're not using it on every character. You're only going to use it on who's not going to be on the field, basically. Like, Albedo. But, hey, he got a buff, so why would you even use this weapon in the first place? If you have his
I use it on my Jean because every time she's coming out on the field, then she will immediately thereafter have 100% health. And because that's also my free-to-play account, and it doesn't have a lot of options.
True. I mean, like again, for attack scaling, there are many uses for it, right? Like boosting these characters' effectiveness for whatever they need. But you need to consider, like, what's going to help a character do what they do best. Like, the Inazuma sword. It's literally everything Jean could possibly want. It gives her extra energy, and it just gives its raw attack, right? And this, I would say, is her best option.
I was also thinking of Chi-Chi as a driver, though, because I never play Chi-Chi off-field. I just don't do it.
Well, I mean, it's like a straight healer, because Favonius only procs while you're on field. It doesn't work off-field.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a number 1 of best 4 stars. I don't use it on anybody. Hang on, let me read everything about it real quick.
You really should. It gives a lot, and it excels more on those with short cooldowns on the E skill, like Jean, because you are able to get its effect up like over and over again.
Weapons, sword, name. There we go. After casting a skill, gain 1 succession seed. This effect can be triggered once every 5 seconds. Seed lasts for 30 seconds. Up to 3 may exist simultaneously after using a burst. All are consumed, and after 2 seconds, the character generates 6 energy for each seed consumed. Okay, no, I feel validated in my choice to not run it on my Gene, because my Gene never casts a skill. Except for maybe once.
Skill in there?
Because I use her on my free-to-play account exclusively as the healer on Xingqiu, Yelan, and Hu Tao team. So I just ult one time and go right back to it. And then because Hu Tao is self-sufficient enough with her burst to heal herself, and with the Xingqiu that
well, like you pop in, use an E skill, and then ult, and you're done. Like, you just get free energy.
True.
Like, you don't even have to do the full 3 times, right? It's just 12 straight up energy, and Jean, on returning herself 20% of that, she's getting basically her ult back every time. Every time you pop her on field, she gets her ult back, basically.
But I also don't need her ult except for once every 2 rotations. And to fill with her and use her burst and or skill takes time out of the rotation. Because as soon as I go Yelan skill, Yelan burst, Xingqiu burst skill 2 times, Hu Tao skill, and do her damage window, I'm already pretty much ready to go back to Yelan without any downtime, and I only need a heal maybe once every 2 or once every 3 rotations. And the team is generating enough energy with Favonius on Yelan and the sack on Xingqiu that she's charged. So, I mean, that's a very specific scenario.
Yeah, and Tess makes a good point. Freedom Sworn, right? If you're a whale, like, you don't have to run this, but I just think like for Jean in terms of free to play, that's her best option. Like a 4-star. But yeah, I mean, I try my hardest to rate them appropriately.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but I feel pretty good about my choice. Although it's regrettable how low the base attack on Harbinger is. If the base attack could just be like 70 higher or something, I'd be really grateful. Though. I know it's a 3-star. That'd make it too busted for a 3-star. It's so low though. Is it like 300 and something base attack? It's disgustingly low. Maybe it's like, does it crack 400 for base attack?
I think it's 407. Is it not?
It is in the 400s.
I thought it was 407. 401. Yeah. 401.
Just cresting 400. So low. Still okay though. Anyway, I might have to skedaddle pretty soon. It's about 4 o'clock now.
Mm-hmm.
We wound up going about 2 hours, and I just got a lot of. It's the end of my. Tomorrow is my 2nd week of being a first-year teacher, so I have to come up with my lesson plans. I don't think I'm probably gonna head to the school and decorate. So I'm gonna try to do that early in the morning tomorrow. But I gotta make lesson plans for the kindergartners through the 8th graders. It's hard to get middle schoolers engaged in what they're doing. They really don't want to care.
Dude, that's why I hold just respect for teachers. Like, I don't mess with them or talk up. It's like, man, this job is hard. Messing with a bunch of little shits all day. Like come on.
Oh man.
Don't
it's also
make it hard on me.
This school serves like a low income population, and so a lot of these kids come from a household with one parent, and it's usually the mom. There's usually not a dad. So like I'm frustrated because as soon as a female teacher comes in and snaps at them, they behave immediately. But when one of the male teachers tries to get them in line, they're like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, don't tell me what to do." And so it's like, I'm like fighting an uphill battle here. Oh,
I don't know. I feel like it's because, like, maybe it's because they're little kids, but I feel like they are more used to having female teachers, because the ratio to male and female teachers, I've always noticed it being heavily weighted towards the females. There's always more of them. I don't know why that is, but just happens to be like that.
Yeah. And that's more emphasized on the elementary side and the middle side. In high school, it's closer to even, but it's still heavy on the female side. But, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I wish you luck, StatJunkie. Hopefully
Thank
well.
you.
Everybody wish StatJunkie some luck. You know, he needs it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Are you going to continue to stream?
am I gonna continue to stream today? No. I was hoping X, would show up, but he never did. He's dead, guys,
Right.
unfortunately.
He's sleeping soundly.
6 foot under. But that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, for anyone who is watching this live version, go onto my YouTube when it's uploaded later and give it a like and a comment so we can get it boosted in the algorithm. Because, listen, I haven't uploaded in a while, man. I need it. But yeah.
And go follow GoldDemon on Twitch.
Yes.
And then follow StatJunkie.
Follow StatJunkie because he is breaking records with Noelle.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah. Goodbye, everybody. See you later today, actually. I should be streaming. Yeah. Bye. Wait.
See you.
StatJunkie. You want to do a special outro? Or are you good with that?
And then we just curtain.
Copyright.
It's not copyright if you sing it yourself.
Fair.